How's it going, guys? It's LB Ninja 7, your resident Mistweaver monk, here today to bring you what I thought was going to be a guide video. I really did plan on this to be a guide video at first, but through testing I figured I don't think it's ready for a guide. I don't think it's good enough for a guide, and I can't in good conscience tell you guys to play like this. So today we're going to be talking about all of the problems with the Ranged Mistweaver build, also known as the Soothing Mist build, especially now that they've given a lot of Soothing Mist support. So let's go ahead and jump in and let's talk about the first topic. So first off, we're going to be talking about how clunky this playstyle is. I mean, it is very slow. When you are Soothing Misting one target and then another target takes damage and you have to swap to them, it takes a little bit of time to swap and then to really ramp up your healing. So it's very, very slow to start healing and very slow to swap between targets, and that is it's just not as smooth and fluid as other play styles that will be mentioned in this video. Next up we have I want to talk about some of the missed opportunities, and we got to start with Unison. I was really excited when they announced this spell, but it's because I misread the spell. So Soothing Mist heals a second injured ally within 15 yards of the first target. So I was thinking, oh, this is going to be sick. This is going to be so cool. We can Soothing Mist two targets, and Vivify, it'll hit both of them. Enveloping Mist, it'll hit both of them, which would have been very strong, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't have been broken. It would just buff healing, and in, I think when you're thinking about buffing healing and how strong it would be, the fear is that it will be overpowered in raid. And I think healing two targets at once in raid is not as strong, and especially since we are limited by our mana bar, I think it would have been totally fine. Every mist that we apply, every Vivify we cast, kind of takes away from our Yulon in our Yulon window. So Unison, I think it's a big letdown. I think it would have been really good for our 5-man group scenarios, but you know, it's just at the moment it's just very disappointing. That Soothing Mist, it ticks for a good bit, it's a good little hot, but the fact that you have to channel it to get its full value kind of makes it less good. Yeah, so that's kind of the main disappointing thing. But also another huge disappointing thing is the bad synergy. I mean, first I gotta bring up this talent. It's Accumulating Mist. So if you channel your Soothing Mist on a target for 6 seconds, then your Zen Pulse will hit for 2.25 the amount of damage it normally does. So it'll be 2.25 times the 100% damage. So the disappointing thing about this is, so let's bring up a scenario, and hopefully I have one playing on screen because I did a key and I'm going to have some footage in. But let's bring up a scenario where your tank pulls a pack and you start channeling Soothing Mist on him, like as he runs up to the pack, and then you count out to 6 seconds. He's pulled the pack for 5 seconds now. You count out 6 seconds, and then you cast Zen Pulse on your tank for it to say there's no enemies in the area. And then you realize that you have to also be put in combat with them. So you run up and you spinning crane kick once to be put in combat, and then you start casting Soothing Mist again, and you channel it for 6 seconds, you look, and the whole pack's dead. You cast Zen Pulse anyway because you're just sad. That is what happened about like every time.
I mean, look, I gotta show you this clip. Watch me channel this Soothing Mist. We've been in combat with the boss. You can see I'm on the damage meters. And then I press Zen Pulse and it says no enemies in the target's area. The tank is standing right next to him. You can watch the Soothing Mist beam. It's right on the boss. That's just an issue. Please fix this, Blizzard.
So I mean, maybe there's some optimization where I could have cast a Chi Burst through the pack first, and I do see that. But still, even if I do that, that's 6 seconds I'm not casting anything. Whereas with the other option, you know, Ancient Teachings, you are getting that damage off the whole 6 seconds. You're getting damage off all the time. Constant damage, constant heals. And it's just a bad talent and a bad way to have the playstyle going. I don't know what they could do to change this, but for 6 seconds to get its full value, it's pretty disappointing. Now let's look at its counterpart. So we can get 1.8 times the effectiveness. So technically 45% of a Zen Burst damage kind of reduced from the other option. But all we have to do is have both of our mists on our tank or on our target that we hit. And that is pretty doable. It takes a little bit of wind up time, basically the amount of time to cast an enveloping mist, but it's just a lot less time to wind up. So it's just a better option, but that doesn't even take away from the playstyle, because you could easily go Echoing Reverberation with this playstyle. In fact, I would never choose Accumulating Mist again. But then also let's talk about like the other options. Chi-Ji is very disappointing when you're not Fistweaving, because you have to run into melee to do it. Yu'lon's very disappointing because, I mean, it's a great healing cooldown, but it doesn't help your damage. It just helps your healing, and it's like when you're doing a full healing build, you don't need that. You don't need that level of healing. You need a reason to get into melee and do damage, and you know what? Your reason is to not play this build, honestly. But I will talk about a few good synergies that I liked. I like Clouded Focus. I always like that. I like that legendary. I like the amount of extra hots we were getting. It was nice to have a direct hand on who was getting healed. I think one of the worst parts of Ancient Teachings is when you Rising Sun Kick and it heals your almost full health DPS instead of your half health tank. It's nice to be able to decide who gets heals. Vivify feels extra good when you get full control over it, and you can really prioritize having more hots out. I was playing Bone Dust Brew. I don't know where I swapped it around, but I think I was playing like this. I was playing Bone Dust Brew. This was my damage option, and it felt good. Honestly, I don't remember it feeling this good. I think Bone Dust Brew plus Resonant Fist. I think it's very surprising with the Spinning Crank Kick, tiny little buff. I think it was really good, and actually I'm going to be trying it out more. The only issue is I'd have to sacrifice Awakened Phalanx to get there, but honestly, Phalanx Stomp plus Bone Dust Brew sounds like a really good time, so I am excited to try that out. But yeah, so it did have some good. It really did. And it felt good that the healing, I had more of a control, and I knew the healing was getting done. The only issue is at the end of the key, I did like 2.3k damage, and that just won't cut it. So yeah, next up I want to talk about the low damage options. So as a Ranged Mistweaver, I really try to squeeze in as much damage as possible. I put Summon White Tiger Statue, Resonant Fist, even though we're barely punching and kicking. I even gave us buffed punches. I went Chi Burst because that's good from a range. I skipped out on all these healing talents, even Summoned Jade Serpent Statue, which is one of my favorite talents to play with. It's just fun, in my opinion. It's bad. It's pretty bad, but I skipped out on all these to even just go more damage. I also went Bone Dust Brew, and then I went Chi-Ji, like I said, which doesn't do damage, but it incentivizes you to do so. And yeah, it still just felt really lackluster. It's really hard to remember to do damage. Like when Summon White Tiger Statue would come off cooldown, I would forget to press it because I'm just not focusing damage. I am just all in on healing. I'm staring at health bars, which you never do as a Mistweaver. It was weird. It was like I was playing Druid again. But yeah, those are the damage options. It's just we need like one more ranged spell. If we could go Chi Burst and Chi Wave, maybe that's it, but still just not enough. And then finally, I do just really quickly want to talk about the biggest issue, and that is its opportunity cost. With this talent tree system, every talent that you pick is taking away from another talent that you could have picked. And I know you guys have probably experienced that, because I know a lot of you guys are wanting to play with Secret Infusion, but where do you fit it in, you know? It's like you're either going down the left side of the tree or you're going down like another side of the tree, you know? You just can't get every talent you want, especially if you're wanting to do this playstyle on Ancient Teachings. Yeah, sure, you could take Ancient Teachings and just tell yourself you're going to be at range, but you will find yourself dipping into melee even more. And at that point, it's like you're taking away from both builds. If you're playing Ancient Teachings, you have to go it all in to get its full value. Same with Cloud of Focus. You have to go all in to get its full value. And like same with all these Soothing Mist talents, it's hard to pick and choose. And what you don't pick, you're just missing out on. And I think the opportunity cost of doing a Soothing Mist build is just missing out on all that Ancient Teachings value, all that damage that we do with Spinning Crane Kick and Rising Sun Kick, and now Blackout Kick. It's been smoking people. And Phalanx Stomp, you have to miss out on that for some ranged healing. And it all adds up to where it's just not worth it. If someone were to put a $100 bill in front of your face and then put a $50 bill in front of your face, I hope that you could see to take the $100 dollar bill, you know? It's just we have two play styles and Fistweaving is just so much better. Now, to conclude this video, I do quickly want to say no one died in this key. So it brings up this question, what if we get to a point where DPS is so strong to where the healer doesn't need to do DPS? That could be something, I think that's where they're trying to push us with the stamina buff and all these DPS buffs. I think that's where they're trying to push us. And then in that case, maybe we can revisit this build. Maybe we can try to tinker with this build, and I will be doing so. I'll be trying it out with, what's this called? Tear of Mourning, and I'll be trying it out with Phalanx Stomp, more Bone Dust Brew talents, and even Secret Infusion. I'll be trying out more builds. But in the meantime, it's not going to be the most optimal way to play. We still need to be doing damage, and we are not going to be able to do so from a range. Just not like other healers. We don't have dots like shamans and druids and priests. Like, we just don't have that. So yeah, that's going to conclude it. I think we're close, and maybe it becomes a discussion if we just need to prioritize healing and healers become true healers instead of battle healers. But for the time being, that is my opinion on the range build, as sad as it makes me. I know it makes some of you guys sad. And thank you so much for watching. Sorry I made this a 10-minute video, but I just figured a lot of people are concerned about this build and want it to be good, like myself. And I figured I'd make this video with my discussion. So if you like what I had to say, if you have something else to add, feel free to comment down below. It really helps me out when you comment, and it gives me something to do in the middle of a work day. It makes me happy to see people are interacting with my posts. And feel free to also hit the like button, and feel 100% free to hit subscribe button. It is free. It takes a click of a button, and it helps me out a ton. We just hit 700, and we got 300 more to go to get to 1,000. So please hit that subscribe button. And I think that's going to do it for this video. Till next time, I'll see you in the next video.